Hey guys, what's up? We are back with another video today, and today I'm doing my Oregon State preview and prediction. So as always, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Like this video if you enjoy it. Comment all your thoughts and opinions down below. I think after this video, Oregon State fans should be pretty happy. So make sure that you put your comments and your predictions down below of what the Beavers will be doing this year in football, as they went 7-6 last year, one of their best years in recent memory, their best year since 2013 when they went 7-6, under the Mike Riley era of head coaches. So I think that it is time to get started. Make sure that you go ahead and check out the podcast. Link should be in the description. If not, you can look it up on Spotify or Google Podcast or wherever you get your podcast, just by looking up Chicago Sports Network. So as always, let's get started with today's video. So the first game of the season is not an easy one for the Beavers. As Oregon State starts their first game against Boise State, it is a home game, and that's pretty much about the only thing that improves this game here. But it is definitely not going to be an easy one. But I think with this game, I think you're able to get a win. Boise State did lose a lot, but at the same time, this should be a game in which Oregon State, they didn't lose a ton. You still return your quarterback in Chance Nolan. You have 9 returning defensive starters to 6 returning offensive starters, according to Phil Steele. I know that some of the returning production kind of depends on what source you're looking at, so I don't say that's a final thing. Because I know each of them look at it differently, amount of snaps you played, or whether you started at all last season, or whatever it is, point being. But I have them winning this game here. Then they head to Fresno State to play the Fresno State Bulldogs. Man, this is going to be a tough game. Fresno State has Jake Haener coming back. They have a really good overall staff, and I think that Fresno State is probably going to win this game. I know that's a tough pill for some Oregon State fans to swallow, but Fresno State is a really elite team and is going to be a tough team. By no means losing this team is going to be a complete dagger to the season. This isn't like losing to Hawaii or anything, but it is definitely going to be a tough game. All 3 of the non-conference games are not particularly easy, because even your FCS opponent, which is Montana State, is not an easy opponent. Montana State should be a little bit worse than they were last year, based on the amount of players they lost, but we'll see. Maybe they're just as good as they were last year, but I think they would decrease a little bit. But I think that they lose to Fresno State in week 2. Then they have a home game, like I said, against Montana State. I think you should get a win. It's an FCS team. I get Montana State is not a bad FCS team, but you're Oregon State, you're a Power 5 team, you should be able to beat them. It isn't even like it's North Dakota State. If it's North Dakota State, that's a whole different question. I think North Dakota State could beat almost like 75 to 80% of the Division I teams, a lot of teams. I think they could be a top 25 team if they were playing FBS level teams on a week in, week out basis. Then you have a home game against USC. Just like last year where you dominated USC, I don't think you dominate them. But with it being a home game, I get that you have Caleb Williams and Jordan Addison, and I get this is not going to be an easy game. But I think with it only being week 4 and with it being a home game, I think Oregon State comes out, makes a statement, and wins that game. Then they head to Utah, which I believe is their toughest game on the schedule. Utah is the best team in the Pac-12, hands down, in my opinion. Not Oregon, not Washington, not USC. It is Utah. I have them losing this game. It is going to be a tough one. Cameron Rising, that defense, is going to be extremely good. And I would almost border on saying elite. So I have them losing that game there. Then they have a home game against Wazoo. I think that they should be able to win this game. They should be better than Wazoo. I don't think that they should have any issues. And I think that winning this game should not be too much of a problem because of Wazoo's deficiencies, and with Oregon State's good season last year, I think that they should be able to improve upon it, though they did lose to Wazoo last year. And if you don't know what I mean by saying Wazoo, I'm saying Washington State, just if there isn't any people that don't know that, just so you know. Then you play Colorado. Colorado is, I think, one of the worst teams in the Pac-12. You should be able to get an easy win here. It's a home game. This should not be a tough win as you enter into the bye week and play a road game in one of your third toughest game of the season, in my opinion, and that is against Washington. Washington is a really tough team, especially on the road in Washington. That's going to be a tough environment to play in. It's on a Friday night. That means it's probably a primetime game. It's going to be a big-time matchup, and I think that you lose this game here. I think that even though Oregon State is a really good team this year, much improved to what they were in previous years, like when they went 1-11 or 2-10 or stuff like that, I think that they're improved, but I do think that they are going to struggle in some areas. Colorado is not the team that is going to exploit. Washington is the type of team that can exploit that. Then they head to California. California is not a team that could exploit that. You should get an easy win here. California has a lot of deficiencies, both on their offense and their defense, but particularly on their offense. So I think that they get a win there. Then you head to Arizona State to play Herm Edwards' team. I think with Herm, you have a lot of interesting dynamics going on there. Partly because of, let's see here, I'm trying to pull up their roster so I don't say anything incorrectly. But you did lose your quarterback in Jaden Daniels, and you have the transfer Emory Jones from Florida. And I'm not that high on Emory Jones particularly. I think he's more of a bottom feeder quarterback. I was never very high on Anthony Richardson right now or high on Emory Jones. I'm not particularly super high on those guys in either of those statements, but I think that that Oregon State should have the edge over them, and Oregon State has really struggled to really get to the level where they were thought to be at under Herm Edwards, which was, wow, Herm has been here for 5 years. That's kind of shocking that he's been there just as long as Oregon State's head coach, Jonathan Smith. That's crazy that it's been 5 years since Herm got hired. Either way, I think that you win that game there, making it 8-3 as your record, which would be your best record since 2012, where you went 9-3, where I think this is really what it comes down to, your rivalry game against Oregon. Though it was a 29-38 loss last year, it was not a complete blowout as in some previous years like 2018 where it was 55-15, or in 2017 where it was 69-10. This is starting to become a little bit closer of a rivalry. In 2020, you even beat them 41-38. So I think that this year it continues to change. I think that you win this game as it is on your home turf in Corvallis. I think that this is a game that Oregon State is going to make a statement. And with that win, if all of my predictions stand to Oregon State fans, that has them winning the Pac-12 North and playing in the Pac-12 championship game against, at the current moment, Utah. Utah is probably going to win that game. But a 9-3 season would be pretty impressive for the Oregon State Beavers, as that would not be likely to be thought of, as it would be over a decade since they last won 9 games. But that pretty much wraps it up for today. Make sure that you hit the 2 videos down below. One will be the playlist of all of my college football predictions, so if you want to check that out, go ahead and do that. Hit the subscribe button up here, as always. Help me reach my goal of 600 subscribers for the end of the month of August. And like I said, as always, have a great day. Bye.